if that ain't done right, it will never be right. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. Today I want to work on this fairly old hornbeam. It's a hornbeam. Leaves looks a little bit bigger than the Korean hornbeam, but nonetheless it's a very good looking tree because it's got very attractive whitish grayish bark, because hornbeam is in the birch family. It likes a lot of water and grows fairly rapidly and can be grown by cutting. So I will actually save all these for cutting. I want to tell you a little bit about the history of this tree. Not quite a year ago, I went to a bonsai nursery in the Sierras. This one was in a corner, neglected. Nobody wanted it because this was a very large branch, kind of a broken off, and then there's a little tweak about this size growing here, and nobody wanted it. And so I saw that, and I fall in love with the bark, the tree. You can see the trunk is very thick. I figure I can use this as a starting point to make a bonsai. I just let it grow so that I have the design options. So today then, given that it's fall, I can strip all the leaves to see where I'm going with the branches and do cuttings with it and try to work on this tree. What I would do is that I will not put in a bonsai pot right now. I really rather like it to grow bigger, and for this trunk to grow much bigger, hopefully to this size, to rhyme with the rest of the tree. And I'll carve this part to make it look dead. So one point I want to make to you is generically is the following. When you have an old trunk, a tree in your garden you want to get rid of, what you can do is to cut it at a slant, and then you plant it with the roots, never mind how the roots gets exposed, but with most of the roots in the soil, oriented so that where the cut is pointing upwards, just like this is kind of pointing upwards. And then the growth coming out, you can use for training as the apex to start over again. And that's how you begin. You can have a very thick trunk very quickly, and then hopefully this will rhyme into that by carving and by letting this grow, that you will have a nice rhyme in a sense of a taper to grow into a nice bonsai. So with this in mind then, what I will do is I will not repot it. In a sense, I'll put it back in this pot to grow again to get it thicker, but I will take it out of the pot to comb out the root base to see what I need to modify to change it, because root base, once you form, it's really impossible to change when it gets old. The root formation is such an important part of a bonsai. If that ain't done right, it will never be right, because you can't change it, it's the root. The top you can change. So this branch was about this thickness, and I let it grow in 1 year. This has become this thick, and all of these has grown. It was a little growth about here. You know, a big trunk, after you dig it up, there's plenty of roots below that grows pretty fast. And so that's what you can do. Again, turning a old stump into a nice bonsai. So let me work on it. And what I would do is I'll probably like to do that a year from now, this time of the year, to redo it. It may very well by then, I would like to put it in a bonsai pot to show you how to choose the right pot, etc. But 1 year, it will have a lot of growth and a lot of branching. Will make it closer to a respectable bonsai. I would say this tree within 5 years, to create such a really a specimen of a bonsai in 5 years, that's really pretty realistic. Even at my age, I think I can do it. So let me take it out of the pot to work on the roots. Wow, look at that. 1 year, how much roots has grown. Birch is a very vigorous tree, although birch is not a good material for bonsai because the wood is very soft. On the other hand, hornbeam is in the birch family, but the wood is very hard, and in fact can be made into furniture and stuff like that for mature trees. So I want to see what's underneath the root. I may very well put it in a smaller growing pot because I don't need that much growth. By fertilizing it properly, I can get just as much growth out of a smaller pot as a bigger pot, just not a bonsai pot, that's all. You can see this is a very vigorously growing tree. I think everybody missed the opportunity. It's sitting there forever, but nobody wanted it. You want the roots to grow out radially, like grasping the earth, so you can be fairly rough, combing it out in the radial direction without hurting the tree much, at least towards your goal. You see I'm coming out radially not to screw up the root, but you can see it continues to go, but I don't need to do it all at once to take the risk of killing the tree. Like right now you can see the way it rocks. This is pretty much the bottom as far as low as I can go. So like this, I pull it out. Seems like I'm damaging the roots, but not really. But also by exposing the base, you can see how much you can tilt the tree to reorient the tree to optimize the design. You can see now, like this part is really a beautiful part because you got the two beautiful roots coming out, big roots coming out, whereas the other part there's not much big roots coming out to accentuate the design. So might as well prepare to go into a smaller growing pot. This soil is not too bad. I need to add more compost to encourage rapid growth. More compost gives you more air, the same amount of water, and that tend to encourage the growth. But look at this tree now. I can actually put it in a bonsai pot. There's not much bottom depth, so it won't make much difference in the growth rate because all the roots are right concentrated right here. That's wonderful. Don't forget, for California, this is a very good time for repotting in the fall. In the colder area, you probably want to wait until early spring, but here we can do it in the fall. Okay, so this is the tree ready to go into a pot actually, and I can reorient it. In this case, I can almost accentuate these two roots by planting the tree this way in a pot. Look at that. This will be my front. That's the apex. Or the tree can be like that. Either way, but I want to show these two. By this, the front, I can see both sides. Let me go find a pot. This is the pot I will use because this thickness is about the depth of this pot. And this is a little bit oversized of this, so to make it pretty good. So what I will do is I put this with my root pruning mesh, and then I'll start to cut this tree. So after I put the mesh in, I put some my soil mix in here, and then I'll put the tree in and reorient it to the point that I like, and then go from there. So this is my front. The idea is that this tree is coming up like this, and then, oh, this branch is broken. I better be really careful. Oh, no. That's a beautiful branch, but that's broken. So I should probably cut off some of this to save the balance of the respiration. You know, you make lemonade when you have lemon, so I wouldn't worry about it. I have two options. So make this the apex, this part the apex, or make this the apex. So I think this would be more dramatic. I'll choose this as the apex. Too bad this branch could be saved, maybe. I hope so. I'll try to save it later by wrapping it and then cut off some of the redundant so that it will grow out again. And then I think if I make this the apex, it'll be very dramatic coming up. So with that in mind, then let me just start cutting. So what I'll do is I would probably prefer this to be up this way, in a sense that going this way, continue the flow. And this branch, I think it's good to bend it to past the yield point, as I always say. You see, it kind of clicked, it broke, but the barks are connected. So if I tie this down, you can see now this is a really interesting angle, right? So I take advantage of that. So let me tie that. You really don't need a very big wire because the wire is just there to hold it in place. I'm not sure where to anchor it because there's nothing below. But nonetheless, what I wanted to do is to make this branch go down because I kind of broke it a little bit. And then I can actually tie it to that branch to hold it back. Now you can see this tree is growing up like this. And then this is bending down. Look at how beautiful that curve is. And I think this branch would be nice to go out this way. And here's a bud, so I cut it right up next to that, so there will be a branch coming out this way. But you don't want this to be too far out, so I would say cut it here and see if it will come out again to go from there. And you really don't need this branch. So now you can see this tree, the design is that this the apex, this tree coming out like this, the apex, And then this branch coming down beautifully. And now this, what do I do with this? These are a little bit out of range, but I can actually, again, push it to the yield point, even breaking the connection a little bit to make it go down. You see, you can see this is breaking right here, but the bottom is still connected, so it's okay. You see, so I'm trying to break it to bend it so that the branch will stay in place. And then I will use the anchor wire to hold it again. Rather than, instead of using a thick wire to do that and then worry about leaving a scar and all that, I just rather use anchor wire to simulate how a tree droops as it ages, as the branch gets thicker. So I really broke it, so it's easy to anchor it. So I would just anchor it right here. In no time at all, it will heal, and you won't even see the breakage point or the problem with me trying to shape it. Cut off a little bit to and this branch, I don't think it's possible to bend it down. So I'm just going to make it into a jin. How's that? It's too late in the season, so the bark doesn't peel as easily, but it's okay. We can take care of that later. You have to cut off as much green as possible to save the juices, so to speak, keep that branch hydrated. So this is basically the design. You can see. So I'm leaving, this is an option to become the apex, but really I want this to be the apex to show the interesting curve. In time, this will be carved out to make it look natural, create more of a taper. So with that in mind, then I'll fill the thing with soil. And this branch looks like it was broken a long time ago and it's trying to heal, but I don't think it will save, it will ever be right. So let me just pull it off. And hopefully this will become an apex. But you can see this branch was broke off a long time ago, and it's trying to form callus to root. So it shows you that birch family trees are very easy to root. And I would definitely save some of these cutting to turn it into a tree. In conclusion, I tried to turn a dumpy junk stump into a bonsai by showing you how to let a little branch grow and take advantage of the existing curve to blend into it. Eventually, I'll carve this out to make it blend. You'll really like the kind of the broken look of this trunk. And then you can see this is becoming a very interesting bonsai. So that's the process of turning a stump into a nice bonsai without many, many years of growth to get a thick trunk. So with that in mind, then I hope you liked the video and click like if you think it's informative. Tell a friend, subscribe to our channel, and send us an email so that we can inform you of tree availability, which will be very limited the first year. With that in mind, then, I thank you very much, and I hope to see you next week.